yoga is a therapy is the superior to any other therapy, I must say.
Too easy to convince the human mind.
It is experience only. You cannot convince anybody. Like when I went, I was not convinced. One day doesn't pass when I don't do my yoga.
You have to convince your mind that you have to exhale completely.
Yes, it is just the right asanas if you are doing like.
There are people who are suffering with blood pressure.
Because the tension has already gone into your body. I have seen it with Gayatri Mantra. Initial stage of this thing, it has reversed. It is like it is Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam. Nyam, there I find most people say Nya.
Yeah.
So Varenyam. So these are the problems which are there.
Hello and welcome to my dugout. Well, it was always a dream to start a podcast like this and meet people that I've met in my broadcasting career, people who've carved a niche in their career, who've helped people grow, they've guided people. And one such personality is there with us in our first podcast today, and that's none other than Dr. Vijay Lakshmi Hota. Welcome to the show, ma'am.
Yes.
Well, I'm so delighted to have you in our podcast, the first podcast that we've launched. Yoga has been one of the guiding spirits, I should say, for many of us. But to start with, I'd like to ask you about your journey. When did that happen with you? The thought and the concept of yoga?
Well, when I started yoga, it was in the 70s when yoga was not popular at all. And I was young, so I was naturally not attracted to this system. But it so happened that an ashram came up in my hometown where my grandmother joined for her diabetes and she got cured. Then she forced my mother to join. My mother also had diabetes, had been on medication for many years, but she also got rid of it. And then I developed many problems. So they forced me to go there, and all my problems disappeared after 15 days of yoga. So that is how I got interested in the subject, and I went deeper and deeper into it, and that is how I got hooked to it, because I was really very ill. I had the one problem that I had was uterine cyst, which every second year needed to be operated upon. There is some small minor surgery, but every second year. So it must have happened at least 4 times, 5 times it had happened. That is one thing that was bothering me. And then my body was not absorbing calcium from food.
Okay.
So that was a very peculiar thing. Even though my glandular function was okay, but my body was not absorbing. So I would have convulsion or my fingers would turn. So these are very scary problems which the allopathy could not do anything. So I was forced to go to the ashram. I did yoga, and these two problems and other problems that I had, insomnia and so many other problems, they all disappeared. So I got hooked to this subject, and as a therapy, I have been using it.
So when did this knowledge of yoga begin? And tell us something about your guru.
See, yoga is, people think yoga means only asanas, which is nothing. Asanas are just a small portion of yoga.
Okay.
Yoga has the asanas and pranayams, meditation, yoga nidra, and mantras also we include. Then there are other types of yoga. This is what what people think is a hatha yoga, but there are other yogas also, like bhakti yoga, nada yoga, swara yoga, and they also are relevant sometimes or the other. For some problems or the other, we do use them, and we get very good results with that.
I heard you once and you said that yoga is not general fitness, it's a cure.
Yes.
And people who understand the philosophy and the truth behind what yoga is will definitely make it a part of their life, because you can't separate yoga with the human life. Is that true?
Yoga is a therapy, is the superior to any other therapy, I must say.
Okay.
There is in Hatha Yoga, it says, the text says that pranayamena yuktena sarva roga kshayo bhavet, which means with the right pranayam, all diseases can be cured. It doesn't say some diseases, it
Mm.
doesn't say most diseases, it says all diseases. So it's only if we do not, I mean, if we are not able to cure something, it is because we have not discovered the right combination, the right formula for it.
Mhm.
Like many years ago, I also thought that your high blood pressure was
Mm.
incurable,
Okay.
because at that time I did not know the formula.
Mm.
Then I discovered it, and now I think it is one of the easiest problem for me. So it is just depends on the right combination, then you can cure any disease, whether it is cancer or tumor or anything. It
Right.
can be cured.
So we'll talk about those threatening words. I call them words because uh, the big disease like cancer and blood pressure, dementia is also one disease, and it's becoming an ailment that paralyzes a person's mind, and then we want to get out of it. So we'll discuss about all that with Dr. Vijay Lakshmi Hota today. But I want to go back into the history first, because you said that you suffered yourself and
Yes.
you got convinced that yoga is the cure.
Yes.
I want to ask you one question. Is it too easy to convince a human mind for you that yoga is the cure?
It is experience only. You cannot convince anybody. Like when I went, I was not convinced.
Mm.
It was just my people just forced me to go, so I went.
Right.
But once I got the result, even in 3 4 days, when I started feeling better, then I was convinced, and I am hooked for life. I mean, one day doesn't pass when I don't do my yoga. So you have to have the experience.
Very simple question. Is it easy to learn yoga these days in the modern times? Because people say that I'll have to sit for 2 hours, 3 hours and do
No.
all the yoga pranayams and the series of yoga asanas and all. So I want you to convince people that it's easy and it's an easy cure for your human body.
Yes, it is. You don't have to spend hours and hours.
Mm.
It is just the right asanas. If you are
Mm.
doing, like if your kidney is affected, and there is one asana that is good for the kidney, one or two asanas.
Mm.
If you do them, then you improve. So
Right.
it depends on how many problems you have. If you don't have any problems and you start it just for
Mm.
to keep your diseases away, to be healthy, then you need to do 10 15 minutes of yoga asanas,
Mm.
5 minutes of pranayam, and you are set. But if you have developed problems, then naturally for each problem you have to do a few asanas. So the best is to start when there is not no problem, or there is just one or
Mm.
two problems. Then it is much easier and shorter
Mm.
time it takes.
I think many people have approached you with some chronic illness, chronic diseases, and you've cured them, because I've read in your books how
Yeah.
people with tumors and cancer,
Yes.
they approached you and they were convinced, and you cured them, and that was an enlightenment for me. So I want you to elaborate on that. So what happened? How come people just come in and you
Yeah.
convince them that yeah, there is a cure
Okay.
in yoga?
Uh, Not convincing. Actually, there is one that comes to my mind is one lady, one Vandana Kumar, who had come from the US.
Okay.
With she had a uterine tumor which she got removed at the famous John Hopkins Hospital.
Mhm.
And after 3 months, when she went there for a checkup, she had a bigger tumor.
Okay.
So the doctor said that we can't do anything now. We
Mm.
cannot operate upon it anymore. So you can choose your own treatment. We can't do anything.
Mm.
So she came to Delhi and somehow came to me, and she did yoga with me for a month. When she went back to the same hospital, to
Mhm.
the same doctor, they did not find the tumor at all. There was no tumor, it was gone. So, and the doctor told her also that if I did not have the earlier reports with me, I wouldn't have believed it possible. So, in 1 month, a tumor can vanish with the right yoga. That is, many more times I have treated tumor, but this is one because the John Hopkins Hospital. That's
Yeah.
why I mentioned it, so that one can find out. One can find it out. Then cancer. Cancer also, I can give you one example. There is one gentleman who was in Delhi earlier. they migrated to Australia. When he was here, he had learned from me for his heart problem and arthritis and all that, and he had got better, so he had a lot of faith in yoga. When he went to Australia, there he was diagnosed with bladder cancer.
Okay.
For some reason, the doctor told him to come after 15 days for the treatment. And so this 15 days that he got, he contacted me and I gave him the routine, what to do. And 15 days later, when we went to the same doctor, there was no cancer. So he said, he told me, so I said, okay, for 6 months, you just continue with what I told you, especially the diet, you don't change. You have to have the diet, you have to do the mantras and everything. So for some time, he continued, but after that, he discontinued. He was a British, so he needed his whiskey and his bacon and all that. So he went back to his normal life, and again the cancer was back. Then again he phoned me. Again I told him. This time I was stricter. So I said, you're not to touch this. And when he took that, again the cancer disappeared.
Wow.
Again, so the twice it happened.
Okay.
Then again he went back to his normal food and normal this thing, and third time also he got it. And this time he didn't contact me. Maybe either he was a little ashamed of his thing, didn't want to embarrass, so didn't want, or he thought this is diet and all I can't do. So he said, okay, let me just do chemo and get rid of it once for all. And he didn't survive that chemo. He didn't tell me, he went for the chemo and he didn't survive. So that is one thing, that it can, in 15 days it can disappear if you are really doing it sincerely. I have other students also who have who had cancer. There is one Swiss lady. Her name is Edith Pfister. She's still around. She got cancer in the 80s, something very well. She was in Delhi, and cancer free till recently. When I had last known about her, she hadn't had any cancer.
I mean, that's a revelation for me, that 15 days, the
Yes.
cancer reports and the cancer will subside through
Yes.
yoga. It's that powerful.
Yes, it is. But I wanted to do research and all that, so that more people would know about it, more people would benefit. But when I had gone for this institute here, I don't remember the name, but the director said, see, nobody will wait for 15 days here. It was by chance that person had to, that 15 days he had. He said, the moment they know cancer, said, tomorrow you do our chemo. Tomorrow you start our surgery, whatever it is. Nobody will wait for you to research. So that is, I couldn't do anything about it.
I feel that it's the human mind that, you really have to work hard to convince the other person.
Yes.
And yoga, you're not spending any money, right? Chemo is like, it's becoming very expensive. But what is the real cause of cancer, or the so-called dreaded diseases these days? You know the causes.
Yeah, no, cancer is proved that is the only one reason for that. It is acidic blood. Okay. There was this German scientist, Otto Warburg or somebody like that. He got a Nobel Prize for proving that cancer can survive only in acidic blood, and in alkaline blood it will vanish. So he had got a Nobel Prize for that. So that is why the thing is, one has to do everything that one has to avoid everything that produces acid in the body, and one has to do everything that will alkalize the blood. So acid producing things, and just food is one way. Then stress also produces acid, because it's, the stress, the hormones are acidic. Then some body has its own acid. For digestion it needs some acid, so that we neutralize with alkaline food. So first you have to stop all acid producing action and diet, and you have to alkalize it through breathing. Oxygen is alkalizing.
Okay.
Carbon dioxide, we do such shallow breathing that we build up the carbon dioxide in the system, in the blood, and that makes the blood acidic. So we don't realize that in normal life also we are doing things unknowingly, which we can easily change. You
Yes.
just do some deep breathing and oxygenate your system better.
I heard in one of your workshops about shallow breathing and how uh, we ourselves are not aware that
Yes,
we are not breathing properly.
yes,
Where you said shallow breathing is not helping you reach the
yes,
oxygen to
yes,
the various organs.
yes.
And you also mentioned about when does a heart rest between two breaths. And that was a revelation for me, and I started doing that. And you also said
Yeah.
that you can count it with the pulse, how
Huh.
many beats
Yes.
you find in a minute. Your heart beats for a minute,
Yeah.
and you can just calculate how much rest are you giving to your heart. So I want you to enlighten our viewers
Okay.
on that.
You see, the only time the heart really rests is in between the beats.
Okay.
Otherwise, the all the time it's beating, 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 and the more tense you are or fearful you are, then it beats still faster.
Faster.
So it doesn't get any rest; it just races itself to death. So what you do is increase the duration, the gap between two beats, and that happens when you do this one pranayam, especially Ujjayi pranayam. Otherwise, all the relaxation techniques like Yoga Nidra and meditation, they also do that. But immediate effect you will get with Ujjayi pranayam. Or when you breathe very slow and exhalation is longer than the inhalation, then you can feel your breath, your pulse becoming slower.
So, can you just guide us in this show that breathing properly does not mean that you inhale for a long time and you exhale quickly? So, in a normal life, like we are sitting just now, what is the right way to breathe?
You have to breathe to fill up the lower parts of your lungs. That is very important because it is the lower part of the lungs where the carbon dioxide being heavier than oxygen settles. Automatically it goes down and it even takes space unnecessarily and it mixes with oxygen and again gets back into your system. So the idea is to exhale completely. So even if you don't do it for every breath, once in a while you remember and you just exhale well and then fill up your lungs with fresh air. So that is the trick. So you have to exhale properly.
And you have to build up your mind. You have to convince your mind that you have to exhale completely.
Yes.
It's going to take longer than the
Yes.
breath that you take.
Yes. No, initially you need to do it consciously. Then after sometimes it becomes a habit. Yes, you have to first do it consciously. Once you know the reason, then you will do it. So you have to just know the reason.
There are people who are suffering with the blood pressures, and I know some people in my family also. They're very, I should say, consistent in checking their blood pressures morning and evening because that's also become a habit. Uh, what is the cure in yoga for blood pressures?
For blood pressure, they see first is it starts because of tension. So you have to relax with Yoga Nidra is the best way to relax. And because the tension has already gone into your body, everything has tightened. Like whenever you are tense, you feel like your hands become fish or your shoulder you hunch up. So you see that even the muscles become tense when you are mentally tense. So when it happens over a period, then they forget to relax. So the blood vessels also they become constricted and they forget to relax. They don't relax. It becomes a habit. So we have to forcefully open them, and that happens with Yoga Nidra and some asanas that we have. It's called Pavan Muktasan. Pavan Muktasan series. It's a series of asana where you stretch each body part. Part by part we stretch. So the way we use a new balloon, the way you stretch and relax to make it soft, the same way the blood vessels and muscles and nerves, everything are stretched and relaxed so that they become pliable again. So the blood flow will improve when the elasticity of the blood vessels is back, then the blood flow is better and the strain on the heart is less. So that is physically that way, and mentally you have to do Yoga Nidra so the body mind also relaxes. So blood pressure 3-4 days it can become normal, not more than that.
That's again a revelation for me, and I'm sure that all our viewers here will believe Dr. Vijaya Lakshmi Hota. that these words actually they threaten you, and they're very dreaded words. Blood pressure, cancer, diabetes. But you mentioned about Yog Nidra just now,
Mm.
and once you go to the social media, I mean, there are thousands and lakhs of people teaching Yoga Nidra. But
Mm.
the viewers want the right way, the
Yeah.
right method of learning Yoga Nidra. I want you to enlighten our viewers here.
Okay. See, Yoga Nidra is a practice where you have to take your mind over your body in a particular sequence.
Mm,
So that is the most important thing, because it has been seen that my Guruji had actually devised Yoga Nidra. My Guruji is Swami uh, Satyananda Saraswati of Bihar School of Yoga. He was something else. I can't. There is no word to describe him. He had devised Yoga Nidra from a tantric ritual,
oh, I
where in
see.
a tantric ritual you touch your fingers. You
Mhm,
touch your fingers.
mhm,
The sequence he followed, and he just mentally, so without touching, mentally also, if we do that, then the effect is the same. That body completely relaxes, and that sequence actually is the sequence that you find in the brain. Like there is a nerve starting, the nerve
mhm,
starts,
mhm.
so those points, the sequence of those points, he has taken and formulated Yoga Nidra. So it is only when you follow that sequence, then only you get the real effect. And you have to rotate your mind over your body once, sometimes twice, sometimes three times also we do
Mm.
that. And after that we visualize certain things, some healing images you have to visualize. So and together they will completely relax the body,
What
so
are
much
those
so
images that you just mentioned? What are those images?
the images, it can be rising sun,
Okay.
it can be a moon, rose, anything. I mean,
I remember I was in one of these sessions where you were actually helping people
hmm,
do the entire sequence of Yog Nidra. And I could see that purple light once you said that in that workshop. I was able to see the purple light. And you said that keep it to you,
hmm,
don't share it with people. But
yeah.
I think this is the moment where I'm sharing that all purple color. Any ideas why I was?
Yes, because Yoga Nidra, where you go deeper, your conscious mind sleeps or takes complete rest,
Mhm,
goes to the background, and subconscious mind comes to
mm,
the surface.
okay.
So we have the psyche, we have many suppressed thoughts or experiences, which you call sanskars.
Mm.
They are in the form of colors or figures
Oh,
or
I see.
things. They are not in the form of words. So when you are in that state, when your subconscious mind
Mm.
is on the surface, so you get those experiences, you see those experiences in their original form.
So you mean to say the colors are related to our sanskars?
Sanskars, they are um, past impression. That is, sanskars are past impression
Mm,
either of this life or previous lives,
mm.
because consciousness doesn't die. Your
All right.
intelligence, your mind is not in your brain.
Mm,
Mind is everywhere. It is just takes I mean comes to you, gets attached to you,
mm.
but it is everywhere. So mind doesn't die, so the thoughts don't die, they are all there. The consciousness doesn't die with your body. So you can either of this life, any past
Mm.
experience, or previous lives, it is
All right.
all there. So those actually surface and they get released. There in a meditation also, we have a
Okay.
special meditation for that, where you call it, it is called antarmona. Whereas you just silent, you become the silent observer of your own thoughts, and thoughts surface
Mm-hmm.
not as thoughts but as this colors, figures and forms and all that. Once they come to the
Mm.
surface from the deeper mind, then they get released, and that way also you get freer from your past bondages.
You believe in past life, the
Yes,
regressions
yes,
people.
yes. Because it's very logical, because the body also doesn't get completely destroyed, it becomes energy. So
Okay.
nothing
Mm,
actually perishes.
mm,
Body just changes form, and
mm.
mind cannot perish. Mind and thoughts, they are there. They will always are there.
How have people responded to Yog Nidra and how much time? Because I want you to elaborate on that because uh, people are looking for the right path and the right way of Yog Nidra.
Mhm.
And I believe that you have that in you, because uh, people are advertising Yog Nidra in social media. You're
Mhm.
giving the cure.
No, Yoga Nidra, as I said, you said the sequence is very,
Yeah.
very important. You
Mhm.
have to follow the sequence. And then to use Yoga Nidra, you can use it for many things.
Mhm.
Because the conscious mind is not interfering. It is the subconscious which is the most powerful mind. So if you want something to acquire, then you put that thought into your subconscious, make a resolution. There is, after, first you have to, you do this rotation of the mind on your body, then your body is relaxes, and when the subconscious surfaces, then that time you just plant that idea, either to get something or to
Right.
give up something
Right.
or to improve your memory or anything or to remember something. It is the best time, the best tool for that. You can remember anything that you want, or you can achieve anything
And
that you
is it
want.
a guided meditation, or Yog Nidra should be guided by a guru?
Meditation and Yoga Nidra are a little different.
Yeah.
Meditation is you concentrate,
Hmm.
but here Yoga Nidra you are not to concentrate. You just be aware of those words.
So how does one do it? Is it to be guided by a guru, or it's available? How would you want to guide people with Yog
Yeah,
Nidra, the right method?
no, live voice is of course the best.
Yeah.
Second best is any recorded voice. It's okay.
You have
Recorded
something in the
voice.
social media
Yes,
where
I
people.
have. Yes, I have. I have. There is my yes, course on Yoga Nidra, course on high blood pressure.
Mm.
In that, Yoga Nidra is there, and otherwise also some pranic Yoga Nidra also I have,
Mm.
and I'll be uploading some more
All
Yoga
right.
Nidra.
So
Yeah.
how does one reach out to that? You want to share the handles here, or
No, you this YouTube, you get my
right?
videos are there in the YouTube. You can get
Right.
that. There's no
There's one
problem.
more. I would say it's a chronic disease which especially happens to our senior citizens, which is dementia. And I've got to know that very shortly. You are um, hosting one of the
Yes,
workshops on dementia. And dementia is not all about the senior citizens, and I think it's the awareness amongst the youngsters of this modern era also.
yes.
How harmful is it for a human being?
You see, dementia is it manifests in older age, but
Mm.
it starts from the younger age.
Is it?
Because we don't realize that, but it starts. It doesn't take. It doesn't happen overnight.
Oh, I see.
Naturally, anything in a human body is so strong. So I mean, it's nothing happens just like that.
Okay.
So it resists, try to. But if you go on abusing it, naturally something bad will happen. So dementia is also like that. It is the WHO, according to WHO, the reasons for dementia is the high blood pressure, diabetes,
Mm.
smoking, drinking, obesity, and depression, isolation. So these are the problems which are there. So that it just builds up. So you have to what do you have to remove those the reason, then dementia you will not get. So one has to normalize high blood pressure, you know, normally your blood sugar, then they do asanas for depression, and for smoking and drinking you have to give up smoking. It's the
Mm.
worst thing, smoking. Then even inactivity, that is also another reason, because that creates a stress. When you are not active, it creates stress in the body. Stress means all the negative hormones which the brain cells will be inflamed, and then
Mm.
memory loss will happen. So it builds up. You have to be careful beforehand.
So does
Once
yoga
it happens, it's
yeah,
difficult.
does yoga have a cure in the form of asanas or pranayams for dementia?
uh, you can arrest this once it has happened, yes, but and also I have seen the normal forgetfulness, it can be reversed. It can be reversed. I have seen it's with Gayatri Mantra. I have seen it with Gayatri Mantra.
Mm.
Initial stage of this thing, it has reversed. If your memory lost, memory becomes stronger again. Because Gayatri Mantra, there have been this many these people who have studied it, researched on it, and they have found that it is very good for memory. They have tried it on students especially, and it has improved their memory like anything within 2-3 weeks. 2-3 weeks. 10 minutes of Gayatri Mantra over 2-3 weeks improve their memory manifold. So older people also should do it and will get the benefit. I have seen my grandmother, I think I must have mentioned it. She died at the age of 103 and her memory was as sharp even towards the end as it was in her younger days. Everything she remembered. And she did Gayatri Mantra every day, 3 times. So
that's a count of 108?
108 times, yes. Okay. 108 times. Each time you should do 108 times.
You saw the delight on my face when you mentioned Gayatri Mantra, because I was enlightened in one of your workshops at how powerful the Gayatri Mantra chanting is. But for the sake of our viewers, we also have the international audience. Is there a procedure and some carefulness before we start chanting?
Actually, Gayatri Mantra, you have to chant it correctly. That is one thing. Every syllable must be clear and must be the way it has to be said. Like Sanskrit, the way it has to be said. That is one. And secondly, it becomes more powerful if you do it with the mudras. Gayatri has some mudras which you first do about 24 mudras first, and then 8. So those mudras, if you do first Hasta Mudra, then you do the Gayatri Mantra, and then again 8 mudras.
Would you like to show it to our viewers just so that they can get a glimpse of it?
Okay, it is like this, like this. So these are before you do the mudra. Once you do the mantra, I mean before the mantra, once the mantra chant is over, then you do it's like this. This one. That's it.
And you're just an ocean of yoga knowledge, and no wonder people feel so enlightened. They get cured when they get in touch with you. But I also would want to request you to chant the Gayatri Mantra for the sake of our viewers the right way, because that's going to help me chant also. Maybe you can teach me the right way.
Actually, Gayatri Mantra, everybody knows, everybody chants. So one or two small mistakes they make. One is like it is Om Bhur Swaha Tat Saviturvarenyam. Nyam, there I find most people say Nya.
Yeah.
So Varenyam, it has to be. So like that. Om Bhur Swaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. Mahi is short.
Yeah.
Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. So it is.
And it has to be sung, or it has to be just chanted without
anyway. Even if you think it in your mentally also, if you do, then also it is effective. Right. But it has to be, if you are saying it, you must be clear. And everybody cannot really have the tune, and that's not necessary. You can do it without.
So can I just chant in front of you, because
sure.
You're also my guide, my guru, and
sure.
So it's like Om Bhur Bhuvah Swaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayat.
That's good.
It's thanks
good.
to you. It's like
it's good.
I just want to ask you that people do want to do Gayatri Mantra, but in this world where their lives have become very stressful and they're very occupied with their work, I heard somebody say that he was once driving towards the office and he was stressed up with the traffic around, and he started chanting Gayatri Mantra, and the traffic did not affect him after that.
No, but if you are driving, you should not be chanting, because you never know. Your mind gets, you may not. But if you're commuting, somebody else is driving, that is okay. Otherwise, some people say they use it in while bathing. I said it's fine. Bathing, if you don't want to waste any time and spend any time separately, just it takes about 12 minutes to 108 times. So you're bathing, while you can do that.
So clearly you want to say that if you want to have a good older life, Gayatri Mantra is the chant that you should be doing.
Yes, Gayatri
Mantra. Apart from that, would you want to recommend some asanas or maybe pranayams for
No, pranayam, yes. As I said, pranayam, this Ujjayi pranayam is very good for the heart, or
for dementia.
for dementia, it's just breathing. Deep breathing is good. Oxygen is necessary for the brain. So any deep breathing, we have something called yogic breathing, where you first fill up the lower part of the lungs, then the mid portion, and then the upper part. First you breathe in, fill up the lower part, then
Okay.
you still breathe in, so only this middle part is filled up, then you do more breathing, so upper part, then the entire lungs is full of oxygen, so the carbon dioxide is out, and the full oxygen means, because we never really use the entire lungs, because shallow breathing only the upper parts we used, so the lower part do not that doesn't get any exercise and becomes weaker. So if you take this deep breaths, that is in yogic breathing, then it exercises the lungs also, and the diaphragm also it exercises, and then it in a way it massages the abdominal organs, because when you are deep breathing and you are doing that kind of wave breathing, we call it yogic breathing or wave breathing, because your stomach and chest goes up when they go up and down. So that way you massage the abdominal organs also, so that is also healthier for them. So it's a good way of keeping the entire system healthy.
You mentioned about how stressful the life is becoming for people. I mentioned that, so stress has captured all of us. What is the cure in yoga for stress?
No, see, stress is something you cannot avoid. Stress you cannot avoid, whether one is a child or old adult or a senior person. Stress will come from some source or the other. Sources may change, but it will be always there. We only have to remove it before it damages our system. And meditation is the best way to do that. Meditation and mantra, these two are the best way to remove stress, so that it doesn't get a chance to damage your system.
What mantras would you like to recommend?
The easiest is Gayatri, and Om chanting is also very good. Just Om. If you don't have any mantra, then you can just Om, 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 Om. Like that also for 20 minutes if you are doing, then you are getting your 10, 15 minutes is also okay. If some people, so they have this objection to Om, some other religions, then they can say their mantra like Amen is one. That also one can use, because it's the same effect, almost the same effect.
And I think in Om also you need the right pronunciation, doesn't it?
Yes. Om, if I to say Om, there is one way is OUM. So you have to say Om, then O, then like that. But that is a Om chanting. It is when you are doing meditation with Om, you don't have to do that slow Om chanting. If you are doing it 13 times or say 11 times or 27 times, then you can do slow Om chanting. Or the meditation way, you just take the mala and you do the mala and Om, Om, Om faster also you can do. So that is also okay.
I now want to ask something about the most important people in our lives, and they are the women, the ladies in our lives, and they have their own problems within. Yoga probably has a cure for everything, because you mentioned earlier how you got cured and you find the solution, you found the cure there. How does a normal woman who's a housewife or who's at home do a proper guided yoga to cure her problems?
See, it is to cure problems, you have to find a yoga therapist, because you cannot, there are so many asanas, you cannot choose them. Some asanas might, like if you have one problem, some asana may be good for that, but it may be bad for another problem that you have. Suppose you have a weak back, and so you want to do Paschimottanasana for the liver. It's good for the liver, or it's good for your uterus. So if you want to do that, but you will do that and you will be aggravating your back, because it's a forward bending asana. So only a therapist knows instead of that which asana will be a good substitute. So that way choosing asanas is not that easy. It has to be done by an expert.
I know it's going to sound very awkward, because in a show, in a podcast like this, a guru like you and sitting in front of me, and a man asking something about women, It's those days where women, I'm speaking about, when they have their periods,
Young girls.
young girls. And, we are living in a society where there is a lot of awareness through
Yeah.
social media, through films. The government is taking initiatives. There's a lot of knowledge now amongst the
Mm-hmm.
men's circle. It wasn't like that, believe me,
Yes.
25 years ago.
Yes.
But it's still not easy for us to understand what pains a girl has to go through.
Yes.
For all those young girls, would you want to give
Then
some guidance?
then I would say Marjariasan is one which is the best for the uterus. Marjariasan, which keeps the uterus and ovaries also in good condition. Then we have two more, which is called, one is Chakki Chalana and one is Nauka Sanchalan. Chakki Chalana, especially earlier women used to do the
Yes.
Chakki Chalana.
Yes.
Maybe it was a natural way of keeping their uterus and ovary in
Oh, I see.
good condition. So Chakki Chalana and Marjorie, these two asanas they should do. And the one thing which aggravates the pain is khatta. Anything that is sour, it will definitely aggravate the pain, because
Okay.
acid, as I said, now acid is bad for everything.
Agreed.
Whether it is a pain, uterine pain, or it is for cancer or tumor, acid is bad. It aggravates the condition. Even if there is any injury, any inflammation, any injury, that time also I advise people not to take anything, any acidic thing. So young girls should stay away from these food for certain days. Like for 15 days they can have, and another 10-15 days they should avoid acid. All the pickles and those things they should avoid. And then stress aggravates it, because we know that during labor pain, those who do this yog nidra quickly, they have very smooth delivery. So very smooth. There is one lady, one doctor, Dr. Parvati, I think her name was. She was a doctor, and when she was pregnant, she learned yoga from me. And she told me, much later when I met her, she said she had a very smooth delivery and hardly any pain, because she kept doing what I told her to do. And it is just relaxing. The more you relax, the better your body takes the pain. The pain will definitely be much less. So for young girls also, that is what I say. So every night you do Yog Nidra and you sleep. So the stress, you remove your stress every day. Every day stress is gone every day. Plus during the period also they should do Yog Nidra.
Do you wish to take a break? Some water or something? Do you wish to take a break just now for 5 odd minutes, or shall we continue?
Which one?
You want to take a break just now
no,
for a water break or something?
No.
We'll
It is
continue.
okay.
Is it going okay, ma'am? So, something that you want me to emphasize on, I'll just ask that.
Yes, aggression in children.
Yes.
That is one thing which is, you see, senseless killing, senseless violence, and who involve children, juveniles. It was unthinkable in earlier days, but now it is happening. It is because the stress level has gone up very much, and secondly, the energy system. Our energy system is imbalanced in children. Earlier, they used to do the thread ceremony for children. And in thread ceremony, they used to teach Gayatri Mantra and Surya Namaskar. These two things. So, because the hormonal changes happen after a certain age when they grow up.
Yes.
And before it settles down, when it is erratic, then the behavior also is erratic, because all our behavior, all our function, everything are guided by hormones. So the children, when it is not settled at that time, they are a little erratic. So first they should learn Surya Namaskar and Gayatri Mantra in an younger age, and secondly, it is the energy system, that is, we have physical energy and mental energy. They should be balanced. When they are not balanced, then you have problems. If there's too much of mental energy, you will be depressed or something, and too much of physical energy, you will be aggressive. So that energy system has to be stabilized in the children, and for that there's nothing like yoga. Just one thing, just Surya Namaskar and one pranayam and one mantra, enough. That much if they do, then all these things will not happen.
Right. So I have many questions, and there's certain myths in the society also. One by one, I'm going to ask you about that. How important is to get up in Brahma Muhurat and do your set of yoga sequences, the pranayams and Surya Namaskar?
Brahma Muhurta is the purest, when you get the air, is the purest. Full of prana, full of oxygen. So whatever you do, you will get very high value for that. So naturally, the effect will be much more. So that is why Brahma Muhurta everybody prefers. And the more into the day, the pran becomes little less. The oxygen also become less. So we don't do any I mean any pranayam. Normally we don't. We don't avoid doing it in the evening.
Okay.
It is always during the morning. That is the.
This is again one of the myths that I wanted to clear through your presence here, that yoga can be done any time, any
But
part of the
any
day.
time, yes, that is what I'm saying. It is the best, of course, if you do it early morning.
But no
But
pranayams.
otherwise, you can do it anytime. There is no restriction, and you will get your benefits also. Only, as I say, you avoid 2 to 4 in the afternoon.
Okay.
That is the time when you don't get the pranic the thing is lowest. So 2 to 4 you don't do. Then again in the evening you can do. But pranayam better to do in the morning. But doesn't matter, you can do it in the evening also.
How will you define Brahma Muhurat, the Brahma Kal? The Punjabis call it Amrit Vela. What is the right way to calculate it?
It is just 2 hours before the sunrise. Till sunrise. That is the time. That is the time when it's the best.
Right. So this was about Brahma Muhurat, but then a lot of people feel that once they are tense, they are stressed, they have themselves started calculating that I'm having panic attacks because I'm panicking. What's going to happen? That is there a way to define the panic attacks according to you, and what is the cure for that?
Panic attacks is also, it is a nervous system, weak nervous system. So you strengthen your nervous system and that goes. Panic attack is also nothing. It's just a physical problem.
And there are certain asanas in yoga for that?
Yes, to strengthen the nervous system, there are balancing asana. They are very good balancing asana. Is Krishna, the way Krishna stands, the picture you will see that is a balancing asana, which is very good for the nervous system. That is Natvar asana, we call that.
So you keep your legs straight and the other one goes
yes,
across?
Yes, a little that way, and with the mudras. These are all the mudras. So just keep your hands and like that. So that is very good for panic attack. Om chanting is very good for panic attack. Om chanting, the moment you start feeling a little uneasy, you do Om chanting quickly. You can do Om 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 Om. Normally it subsides, but you have to strengthen your nervous system and you have to release the stress that is in the mind. It is always stress, and these two things they create all problems. One is stress and one is your nervous system, weakness of the nervous system.
Any other asanas that you've recommended to people and you've seen results coming out of that for panic attacks?
No, panic attack, that time you can do only deep breathing, this yogic breathing, as I told you, that relaxes immediately. So that and Om chanting, these two when you have the attack. But to prevent it and to cure it, you have to do the proper yoga asanas and all.
Right. Now coming to one category which I was very keen to ask, and no other than you, the real guru can guide us, and that's the food habits these days. People are now started, following the tamasic and the other food, which we call it as a sattvic food. I want you to tell us that is there a cure through, you mentioned that the diets also play an important role in the human body. So how important is the division of tamasic and the sattvic food?
Tamasic, sattvic, these are I think these words are really not relevant for this food. Food habit, you just have, it's in my experience, I have seen that if you avoid acidic food, just decrease your acidic food and increase your alkaline food, then that is the best. Even raw food, people are taking raw food, whereas my Guruji always was against it. He said not too much of it. Why, my Guruji used to say, why do you want your stomach to cook? So
Oh,
he was
that's another revelation.
that he didn't want very raw food, because too much of raw food. I also another Dr. Aman, he had written a very good book. When I said, he had written that too much of raw food can inhibit your thyroxine production.
Oh,
So that means it's not good for the thyroid. But that people don't understand. It's that like slimming, you have to take only raw food,
absolutely.
but that is not really wise. And that is what my Guruji also said, and I also experience. And I, whenever there any theory comes up, I always see whether whether our grandparents used to take
Mm,
that or not, the traditional food, because they centuries of wisdom has gone into our traditional food they have developed. So always say, I say, were they taking raw food? No. So I said, then it must not be good. So no, they used to take mostly cooked food,
cooked
and
food.
salad mein thoda sa, just a little bit of salad they
Yeah,
used to take,
yeah.
nothing, not much. So even I think that is the wisest way. And since my Guruji said that, after that we don't do.
I believe that the proper guidance is
Yeah.
vital for us. If we have to follow the correct procedure of yoga, it's like salad eating. I'm eating salad throughout the day. I'm
Uh,
eating salad for weeks, and my body is going to get better. And
mm,
people often land up
yeah.
somewhere else. So food is one of the main areas I wanted you to focus in our show, and it's going to help a lot of people who are
Mm.
tuned in. Uh, what is the acidic food, if you can, would you like to mention that these are the things they have acidic in nature, and which are the ones which are alkaline?
Yeah. Acidic, most acidic are one is this white flour, white sugar. These are the worst.
Oh,
White
I see.
flour and white sugar,
Right.
and acidic food. All the vegetables and fruit. They are in raw form. They are alkaline.
Okay.
But how you cook, then it becomes acidic. If you deep fried food is acidic.
Okay.
If you deep fry all kinds of spices, and
Mm.
especially red chilies, a lot of red chilies you give, that becomes acidic. Green chili is not acidic. Red chili is acidic. So one has to know the pH value of food. That
I remember in one of the sessions you were mentioning about the red and the green chili. Again, a silent observer, and I took it up from there, and I tell
Mhm.
people that the red chili is okay sometimes, but then you want to add that spice and you want to make your food hot. So green chilies are the raw form or cooked form of green chilies in any ways.
Green chilies.
Yeah.
No, green chili it has got vitamin C, and it
Mm,
is very good. Red chili is, as it is not bad. I'm not saying red chili is really bad,
mm.
because South India they have red chilies all the time.
Yeah.
But it is the food combination. They must be there traditionally. They must be having something
Yes.
which must be negating its bad effect.
Mm,
When you do not know that, then red chili can be harmful. Otherwise, red chili increases your peristalsis. It has got its good points,
okay.
but also it is acidic. So you have to neutralize its effect with more as alkaline food.
And how does one think about the alkaline nature of a food? Some people say that if you put lemon in water, that's alkaline water, and
Yeah.
that cures your body. You believe in that?
Lemon water is good, but if there in certain conditions it can be bad. Like if you have arthritis, you
Hmm.
take lemon juice and immediately the pain will aggravate. So it's not always good for. I mean, nothing is good for everybody. It depends on your body's condition. So lemon and oranges, they will not suit a person with acidic. Already,
Mm,
if there is some inflammation, suppose there is a cut and you put lemon in that,
mm,
it will sting,
mm.
it will get red, it will be inflamed.
Yeah.
So it is like that. Inside also, if there is some inflammation, if there is some cuts or something, then the lemon will hurt and it will aggravate the condition. Like in arthritis, even in cancer, I also say that in cancer also no lemon.
Oh, I see.
But the raw food, that is all fruits, normal fruits which are not too khatta, they are all alkaline. So the more fruit you take, it is better for you.
I understand that the podcast always has a limitation. Where sometimes you want to elaborate on things, but time will not permit you. But you've written a lot of books regarding food as per yoga,
Yes.
meditations, the asanas, the pranayams. I like you to enlighten people about that, and you've got a set of books here also.
Yeah.
But to start with the food, the food regime of a human being, what book one should reach out to?
No, normally it is my books of food. I have written about food, but it is disease specific. Like in the cancer book, I have written about what good food is good for cancer.
Mm,
In my book, in ailments, yoga and diet for ailments, so they are also very disease specific.
right.
Normal, if there is no problem, you don't have any problem, then you can take anything. Just stay away from a few items, like as a white flour, white sugar,
Mm,
and deep fried food. These are the worst. These three things you should avoid. And certain food that you should take every day. One is I recommend everybody to take one green coconut water. That is necessary because it has got all the trace minerals. So you might be missing out on something from your normal diet, but if you
okay.
take one green coconut, then that is fulfilled.
So moving from breakfast to the water therapy, a lot of people feel that they should be drinking 10 glasses of water in a day. Some prefer 4 liters, 5 liters. I mean, the number varies in social media, so they're also confused how much water to drink. Some say that drink water whenever you're thirsty. Your take on that?
No, water is necessary, but minimum should be 6 glasses. And after that, whatever your body throws out, you have to compensate that. In summer, you have to take more. In winter, little
Mm,
less. But the 6 glass must. That's a must. Best is to take 2-3 glasses first thing in the morning
mm.
because that will flush out your system and keeps your skin clear, your body clear.
That's normal water in the morning, not hot
Warm,
water.
you can take warm water
Right.
in the morning and I mean the first thing in the
Mm,
morning that is, and then during the day, the rest, whether you take water or some other liquid, it is at least 6 glasses should be there. It is not necessary to take 3-4 liters of water, not
right.
necessary unless you feel that thirsty.
Mm,
Then body is asking for it, then you drink. So that is one. But as you said, breakfast. You said breakfast. Uh, Fermented cereal is the best for breakfast. One should have some, like idli is fermented. In Odisha, they have something. We have something called pakhal. The
okay.
rice put in water and it is fermented
Oh, I see.
overnight. So that is good fermented food. Because fermented cereal is liver protective, is
Hmm.
liver tonic,
Hmm.
and liver is getting very strained these days because all kinds of toxins get into our system, all the pollutants,
Mm,
everything get into our system, and it is liver has to remove them all. So it gets strained. So first thing in the morning, if you take fermented cereal, that will be very good for the liver. So that one should take.
right. Intermittent fasting is something which is getting popular, but
Yeah.
people have started believing that if I stay hungry for 16 to 17 hours, I'll get fitter.
Uh, Intermittent fasting, the people have there's some very good points. Some doctors have also recommended, traditional doctors. So I don't say anything against it, but in normal way, it is the morning sunset. I mean sunrise, sunset. Sorry, sunset to sunrise.
Mm,
You should not have anything. There is a nature doesn't want you to have anything. So if you are having a little, even if not before sunset, closer to sunset,
okay,
early dinner,
right.
then, and the rest the time you are not having anything, then morning again it is the by the time you want to drink your water, you do your
Mm,
back morning 2-3 hours, as it is it goes.
yeah,
So altogether maybe 13-14 hours you are not having in any case. Beyond that, at least I don't see any reason to stay hungry. If you have any problem, then maybe as a
mm,
therapy you can do it, but not as a normal practice. I mean, personally,
right,
I have nothing against it, but I have some reservations here.
right.
I wouldn't recommend.
Various books that you mentioned here, you just mentioned about the diet. We've got a set of your books. We're missing on certain books
Yeah,
about cancer, and you've written a book on
backache is missing
yeah,
and cancer
and all these books are available online. One can always
yes,
go and
yes.
check it out.
Amazon has them mostly. Otherwise, my publisher, Rupa and Co.
Mm.
Their website, I think they have all the books they can get.
Right then. So before we just wind up for the podcast today, uh, very shortly, if you can just mention about the chakra meditation. which you teach people and you guide them. A bit on that.
Chakra meditation, chakras control every function in our body, energy center, because they send out the energy. They know where to send the energy to, which part needs more energy, which part needs less. So if you keep your chakras in good condition, then your health is good. So in chakra meditation, we just imagine each chakra, one at a time, and you breathe. Imagine that you are breathing from that chakra. So there are all the chakras are there on the spine. So you imagine 27 times you are breathing from the Muladhara, 27 times from the Manipura. Even if you do not count, say 1 minute, 2 minutes each chakra breathing, then you are aware of the chakras. And we say that wherever the mind is, your pran also goes there. So if you are thinking of the chakra, the pran automatically goes there.
Alright.
And once the chakras have the pran to distribute, then your health becomes better. So that is why chakra meditation.
I remember in one of the workshops you mentioned that there are chakras, the signs are available. You can take a printout from the net,
Yes.
keep it in front of you, and then just do that conscious breathing.
Yes, that is Tratak. When you are concentrating on a chakra, whether you think about a chakra or you look at the chakra, the effect is the same. It is easier. When you see it, it is easier in the beginning. Later, you can just imagine. Initially, to make it easy, you can use a visual.
Right. Then your final words about the modern day yoga. A lot of people have kind of collaborated it with the olden times, and they say that this is modern day yoga. But the ethics and the foundation of yoga will never change.
Yeah.
You believe in that?
Yes, yes, yes. Yoga is that traditional yoga is the real yoga, because they knew the working of the body, working of the mind, working of the universe, working of the energy. So they had devised yoga in a certain way which deals with the subtle energy. So even a small movement makes a difference. Small, if you are deviating from that, a small movement also can make a difference. That is why we believe that the traditional yoga one should stick to, and all the modern variations, I have my doubts.
And it connects to the divine. How has it connected you to the divine?
Yoga is a way of connecting to the divine. The more you concentrate, everything is a manifestation of the divine. But we are never aware of anything. We just think of our own thing. We never aware or don't concentrate. Once you start concentrating on something, then you are connecting. Anything you are concentrating on, you are connecting with the divine. So more of that you do, closer to the divine you proceed.
Okay, there's one last thing that I want you to elaborate on, and that is anger management. People are getting violent.
Yes.
Mentally, and then it transforms into physicality, and the physical violence is built up here in the mind first. So anything that you want to
Anger,
suggest?
one is stress. Because of stress you get anger, and second is the adrenal gland. When that becomes very overactive, and then the secretion of more adrenaline, and that gets into that your mind and makes you angry. So there are two ways. One is meditation to de-stress, and one is Shashankasan. Shashankasan is just the way we, before the divine, when you go down, that is Shashankasan.
Oh, I see.
So that is for that. Shashankasan, if you do for say extended period like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, then
when we bow down in the temples.
Huh.
Well, it's been an enlightening session for me, believe me, and I'm sure for our viewers also, because all those things that you elaborated on, you touched upon. It's just a reminder that to stay fit, we have, the ways in yoga, which is our traditional form. And from India has gone abroad all over the world. I'm sure people connect to you from all over the world. But it was such a divine blessing that you came to our show.
Thank
the
you.
first podcast with you. I'm sure it's going to be very memorable for me and for my team and for everybody.
Thank you. Yoga is a vast subject. This is hardly any half an hour. Whatever I could manage, I convey, but it's definitely something everybody should turn to. Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much for sparing your precious time for all of us.
Thank you.